Can max out light and volume. There we go. It's a warm day, but it's not the worst temperature we've ever experienced here in Southern California. I am fully recovered from being at work all night on Friday. If you follow me on other socials, you'll have seen what I was talking about. I was wearing quite the scandalous sweater dress by Guess, and it was low cut, super short, and it laced up the back with a very wide ribbon. Very pretty dress. You know, people's reaction to it was very positive, so I did look to see, ooh, can I get one? You know, I think it is a bit of a vintage dress. You know, I wasn't prepared to be in a dress. I thought I would be in either leather leggings or some other kind of fun party pant, but the wardrobe gods did not want me to do that, so I got what I got. But I wore very much this hairstyle, right? I've been normally wearing my hair up in one bun, but I have graduated to two just to kind of distribute weight and make it a little bit more comfortable, as it were. So, you know, thank you to everyone who's tolerating my, you know, I pretty much leave it alone with its texture and the color variation that you see. Like, I don't want to get extreme in terms of what I do to, you know, make it fit my idea of, you know, what color or texture it should be or it could be. Like, I just want to, you know, let it do its thing, right? If I can do that, especially when I don't have to like have it in like a tight bun, you'd be surprised the number of gigs that want the tight cop style bun. And I'm sure part of it is kind of texturism, that your hair doesn't look kempt or orderly unless it's super pulled back, slick and straight. And I definitely cheat, right? I cheat with, you know, just wetting my hair, putting in alcohol-free gel and a do-rag. And I know people, there's certain people, this one woman I worked with who's from Arkansas, had a nice chat with her, but when she saw me in this, she stopped talking to me because she thought, you know, she had some opinion about how I was choosing to keep my hair in order. And I was surprised, but not really surprised, you know, like, it's just hair. It's just what I do so that, you know, because you can tell the second I take it off, right? Individual hairs start wandering around and not looking smooth and sleek and orderly, which I'm fine with in regular life. But, you know, when you're on the clock, you gotta do what the peoples want, right? Right. So here we are, Wet n Wild 5-in-1 Essence Primer Liquid. It claims to smooth, condition, refine pores, balance, prolong makeup. For some reason, the fluid ounces is a sticker and it wasn't printed on the bottle. Shake well, apply evenly to face, allow 1 minute to set before applying makeup. So it's a primer and it claims that it smooths. So when I'm in a hurry and I'm going to work, I don't necessarily believe this. So I'm struggling to put on weight. I've tried every possible thing. Doesn't work for me. Definitely consume dairy products if you're not vegan or vegetarian. If you want weight on you, just like with little babies, you get right into those dairy products, you know, animal fat, lard, butter, ice cream can definitely help put on weight. I definitely put on weight during the Hollywood strikes, and I am just managing to get it off. And, you know, my journey to putting on, what was it? I guess it was like 10 or 14 pounds in a hurry. It was down to dairy products, really good baked goods, pizza, frozen pizza, all those things work. Mark X, hi. Hi. Thank you for joining me. Debjyoti Mukherjee, darling, are you in black thongs? No, actually nude colored, because, you know, when you do the kind of work that I do, You can't gamble on wearing colors that won't be compatible with your, you know, very, shall we say, brief outfit. I did not expect to be dressed like that, but professional and champion that I am, I, you know, took care of the leg hair. I wore a nude undergarment up top and a nude undergarment down below. And that turned out to be a very smart move, right? The very kind people in wardrobe really, their designer really wanted me to wear that dress. And I wore the heck out of that dress. And the people in Video Village were like, oh, we really see her in that dress. Am I smoked? No. I'm just tired. I was up, I didn't go to bed until 4 o'clock in the morning on Saturday morning. I couldn't even get out of the bed to eat on Saturday. That's how tired I was. And I like purely stayed in and slept. And it's not like I'd been missing sleep the days before. Oh, I still have eyelash glue on my eye. Terrible. Why can't the US play chess? Because they miss a queen and 2 towers. Oh, ha. I guess, ha. Is that what is it called? Is that Al-Qaeda humor? I don't know. Don't get people riled up here, right? We're talking about Kate Middleton and Prince William and whether or not they're going to stand up and stop all these riots that are actually happening in the UK over, you know, some incidents of violence. There was apparently some kind of violent incident having to do with children at a dance class that was Taylor Swift themed. And then rumors are spreading that it was someone that wasn't white. And there are quite violent riots going on now at the very moment where, you know, the UK people could use a soothing voice of concern, right? Concern over the safety and well-being of all UK residents. And we're not getting that. We're getting reports that Kate and William are on vacation. We don't even know if they're on vacation together. That's how thin the updates are, right? We all went through 8 months of extreme concern over Kate Middleton, her health, whether she was okay. And then for her to pop out looking better than ever at Trooping of the Color. I know, Saki, you're a big fan of Trooping of the Color for King Charles. It was a little jarring. Everyone I know who has had serious bouts with cancer looks a little bit worse for the wear. And if her medical care is that good and that great, excellent. But another false note in the way that it all is playing out is that we aren't really seeing or hearing any cancer advocacy from Kate, not for the particular kind of cancer that she allegedly was suffering with. So if that was primer, this is Pore Perfecting Serum Cream, Canna B. It has cannabis sativa seed oil, Garnier Green Lab. So this is for our friend Mina Kim, who is asking if I'm smoked. I am not, but because if I were, I'd be either snacking or napping. You know, I believe you're right. It's kind of outrageous that people who are gifted this lifestyle and millions of dollars in taxpayer funds really don't, even their advisors don't tell them, you know, it's really going to look terrible if you dip out right now when there's a crisis and then you're invisible, or maybe they're even trying to hide the fact that they're not together. Do you call it fish finding chemo? You have quite a dark sense of humor, Saki. Are you smoked? That's the question. But this is some kind of cannabis sativa product that I know you'd enjoy. It broad spectrum SPF 30 sunscreen. It says that it perfects pores. So let's see what it's all about. Again, these are products I'm nervous to put on my face when I have to go to work. I'm like, ugh, I gotta go to work. I can't play games. I can't experiment. I gotta be looking right when the cameras are on and I'm doing all this and all that. I gotta know that the products are sticking on and that they're doing what they need to do, right? Right. I mean, do you think preventative chemotherapy goes on for 6 to 8 months? my understanding that it's weeks at best, and it's a pill, and it's after cancer has been removed. And you know, there's no discussion of her diet changing, there's no discussion of anything, right? We saw a new dress and we saw a hairstyle at Wimbledon, and very little interaction between her and William. And what is this business where they're, you know, picking and choosing what kid to take to different events? I think that that has to be hurtful to any of the kids that are left out, right? Like, oh, I'm not the heir, I don't get to go. Horrible. You wouldn't have seen Princess Diana do that to Harry and Meghan, although Prince William seems to be bending over backwards to put Harry in a bad position. So I saw the most beautiful glowy foundations. Now, we've been warned not to wear highlighter to work, right? But if it's a natural glow enhancer, right? Like a Hollywood Flawless filter, or like a Lumi Glotion, this is medium, or even a Revlon Photo Ready Skin Lights Face Illuminator. We've tried this before, but let's get into this, because people are saying not only is it more affordable, but it's also a better product than others. Oh, thank you for the 4 hearts. But yeah, feel free to like, share, subscribe, do all the things. We're here together on a Sunday making magic, right? Apparently the Teamsters have signed their contract here in Hollywood, so things might be getting busy to the max. Let's not use too much, because I did watch someone, it was a different glow product, and she put it on under her foundation and over her foundation. And I thought, well, is it necessary to do both? But this is what the color looks like. So it's not going to give you bronzer. It's hopefully going to give you glow. And then, you know, apparently people who do K-beauty are putting on sort of matte foundation that has primer in it, so you get a matte look, and then they're going over that with glow products, right? Just to have a glass skin look. They're setting things down by spraying their puff with setting spray before applying powder. That's pretty impressive. But yeah, we didn't use a ton of this, but we're just trying to check it out. You know, if other people are turning up at work with glow on the face, well, I say me too. I want to glow too. I want to be in the game. I don't want to be looking matte and flat, right? That's a newscaster look, but you know, putting glow in all the glow places. Using it all up. Yes, I know I still need a new silicone sponge, but you know, there's a movement apparently, not only to hit pan with the products you have, but also to, you know, repair and recycle things. So if this is what the glow product is looking like, what do we do first? Do we do contour? Do we do concealer? We have our setting powder. This one is translucent or white. And then we have this one that is Wet n Wild Photo Focus Banana. We did also rediscover our Bobbi Brown Warm Natural Sheer Finish Loose Powder. Everyone, you know, carries on about Bobbi Brown, who was at a kind of like business of beauty event with Meghan Markle, right? All these delicious activities and posts from Prince Harry and Meghan Markle, but we get nothing, crickets, from the people who are actually in place to do good work for the British people. Help me understand. I just think it's kind of tasteless. Here is a contour product from e.l.f., but we also have, oops, some other contour products that need love, right? If we're ever going to truly get through our stash, then we can't neglect these items, right? This is a Maybelline Master Contour stick, right? You see how we've chewed down into the contour side, and we're going to keep doing it. what is the proper brush? I think I rock with this, but maybe this is okay. Let's see. We did clean it, so don't worry. This brush has been washed. It's nice and clean, so we don't get into anything bad. But yeah, how's your weekend? How's your holiday going? Are you on a break from work? Are you needing a break from work? Are you working on your makeup this weekend? Are you concerned that William and Kate don't seem to be putting a lot of effort in their working relationship with the British public, who fund them to the tune of, I feel like it's something like 40 million pounds a year. If you're so rich and you don't need the money, then don't take the money. But if you are serious about being public servants, I think we're going to have to see a little bit more from you than the absenteeism. And that's a word that hasn't been used in this discussion of William and Kate, but I think it's very appropriate, right? Absenteeism. You just don't show up. You just don't go to work. You send a suspicious sick note. Oh, I'm sick. Not sick enough to not go see Wimbledon men's finals only. Not sick enough to avoid all the, dramatic soccer finals, right? You're not too sick for that. You're only too sick when it comes to actually serving members of the British public. And I think it's tasteless. Can I say that as an American? Their media forces Kate and William down our throats as much as they have forced all the other royals before them. So miss me with the idea that we can't or shouldn't have an opinion. I have an opinion, and you go hear it. That's the purpose of this live, right? That, and I also need B-roll for my posts on another platform. I can't just do what I used to do, which is like use articles or footage from somewhere else. I mean, this platform will ding you if you play video and audio, right? Clearly you see different creators just using a snippet of video or making it small or the middle third of the frame and that sort of thing. But, if I can experiment with makeup and then just import this as my B-roll, then that's what I'm gonna do. Making it work, right? People wanna have so many rules for me, but how many videos violate all kinds of rules about you shouldn't include, smexual activity, you shouldn't be advertising substance paraphernalia, but it's all over the place. I think this platform is great because it's like you can have mature discussions about PDF files and crimes and different things. This is not a terrible contour shade. It actually, it looks warm on my skin. Is that because I'm warm? It looks not as, sort of orangey and crazy as a lot of the products that we get into for contour and especially bronzer. Cool toned foundations and cool toned bronzers are hard to find. Yes, they are, stars. All right, but we maintain our interest and our monitoring of these situations, right? Yes, we have to go to work. Yes, we have to be responsible about our families and our relationships and our health and, doing our best to recover from long hours on the job. But, just this attitude that, oh, only other people have to actually make good on what are essentially, wages and operating costs because they're royal. It's embarrassing. I don't think that Queen Elizabeth would be happy about the situation. I don't think that King Charles should be happy about the situation. But, nobody seems to control what Prince William gonna do. He doesn't give a damn. He going on vacation. Vacation from what, you ask? Well, that is the eternal question. Beating people about the noggin? Is that what was going on at Christmas? And whatever happened to Thomas Kingston and whatever happened to you know, lead to a new scar on Kate Middleton's face? Inquiring minds want to know. I know I do. Will we ever get those answers? Perhaps not. You know, and maybe that's why there's such a high premium on keeping and scaring Prince Harry out of coming back to the UK, lest either Kate herself, one of her family members, or staff tell what's been really going on, because, you know, the information I'm getting from people who are household workers in parts of the United Kingdom about who William is actually dating and who all is responsible for X, Y, and Z, well, it's very different than the story that we're being told in the official UK press. Is this enough contour? Is it dark enough? I mean, what's nice about this contour shade is that it's not so dark that it's super clockable, right? There's so many people running around with, like, I don't know, I just feel like it's lazy. Just a big stripe of brown or red or, you know, some suspicious color on their noses. And it looks like makeup, which is not a terrible thing, but it doesn't look natural. It just doesn't look right to me. Let's see. We could use our puff to do this, but let's use a well-loved sponge. This sponge actually came out of one of the powder products that was one of my road dogs early in the days, and I, you know, want to hit pan on it. I replaced the puff, but I think for this experiment we can spray the original puff down with setting spray. That's what they say to do with your cream products. Now, before we go too far, let's get on some cream, what, concealer or corrector? What we have handy is corrector. So should we switch to the peach one? Maybe, right? Using cheaper products, you can experiment. And if it evaporates or won't work, oh well. We not gonna cry, right? We're trying to get our work done before the regular work week starts, right? We're trying to use up all our products from the late, great 99-cent store, right? Peach corrector from our friends at LA Colors, right? We've dabbled with the correctors before, and we weren't really impressed. Like, it wasn't like, oh, let me do that every day. But the theory is that you can get on corrector to eliminate darkness and use less concealer or foundation, right? Let's try to shear that out and get our handy Dollar Tree mirror and tap this into place, right? Peach. I gravitate toward the yellow, but they say that peach is better than orange for, you know, my complexion, but just trying to see if the theory holds, if it's really gonna, because, you know, I'll put on concealer in the morning, and then when I get to work or I see myself in photos or posts to other platforms, I will be looking like I didn't bother, right? Let's see if we can use this to prime the lid as well, since we have so much of it going. So it's not so much for darkness, but just to see, does this lighten things up? Does it eliminate the need for as much concealer around the nose, in the smile lines? But what was that word that I used that I liked so much? I'll have to watch this back and see. Where else do we need to brighten or eliminate darkness? I don't really know. Should we try some at the corner of our eyes? Yes, indeed. But that's what's up, right? We're just observing. We're seeing what the British royal family is getting up to when there's such a need. There's a new prime minister. I don't know if he's been sworn in already. Maybe he has. I don't think they have an inauguration like we do in the States, but, you know, we've certainly seen Prince William wagging his finger in the face of the new prime minister at, you know, one of those soccer events where Team UK lost and Prince William, leader and champion that he is, very neatly stepped down as the, I guess, the patron of whatever they were having him do, you know, only for the men's soccer team, never for the women's, right? And that seems to hold true for Kate Middleton as well. Some have accused Kate Middleton of only being concerned about the male gaze, right? The male gaze, the male opinion, the male sporting events, maybe even the male heir. Who can say? But it's unfortunate. They're missing an opportunity in a Western country to be so allegedly sexist is, I think it's in bad taste, personally. But, you know, let me know what you think. I just can't believe it in this day and age being so, it's just in poor taste, really. So here goes our setting powder infused puff, right? Just not trying to move anything, but just trying to set it down and hopefully let it dry. It's a little hot. I have lights on. And I feel like I forgot to recharge one of my lights. It's like a little portable ring light that would give me more light on this side, but I think you can see me, right? We have our live sign going and our star sign, because stars, we're over here talking about what these people are getting up to. They certainly are getting up to a lot that doesn't include actually, you know, working for the UK people. This would be a very, very great time to step up and say with authority, right? The authority of being royal, what should or shouldn't be going on in the UK, but empty set. We're getting nothing. We have two other colors of this beautiful cream gel blush. We were loving tulips, but now we have Rose Garden, right? In honor of our friend Rose Hanbury. Let's see what's up with that, right? Cream gel, there's so many cream gels in the marketplace. If you, like me, are not trying to spend every nickel on what is, after all, makeup, right? Then some of these cheaper options from your local dollar or discount store, right? Pound store. 2 minutes to end this live stream or I'll be permanently banned. Says you. Summer for Life, 1826. I guess I'll roll the dice. We're working on our makeup and we're talking about little Miss Kate Middleton and her, I don't know. Is it down to cancer treatment? Ooh, the product is trying to escape. Or is something else going on? Are Kate and William vacationing together or separately? I would love to know what you think. Summer for Life, 1826. Maybe you also believe in, you know, forever vacation privileges, you know, for people who get most of the year off. I'm stunned when there's such a crisis in the UK that Kate and William wouldn't feel more sense of duty to get things done for the UK people, right? This shade looks a little bit more rich. Rose Garden for Rose Hanbury. Yes, sir, right? All those articles and all those references in articles that weren't completely deleted, just edited over the last couple of months, right? There was a whole compendium in New York Magazine, right? New York Magazine doesn't give a damn. They gonna spill it. And it was something like, I mean, I think the low estimate would be 30 articles that were changed and altered in order to change the perception of what has been going on with that, you know, neighbor to Anne Hall and her purported husband, at least on paper, David Rock Savage. And, you know, questions have been raised about, you know, what a guan. What a guan, as they would say in Jamaica, because it's sus. You know, why you need to have dinner alone with the next door neighbor? You know what that looks like to your wife. But, you know, again, Prince William don't give a damn. He feels like he's untouchable, and maybe he is, right? The inquest into Thomas Kingston's unaliving hushed up real quick. Nobody knows anything. Nobody's saying anything. it's as if it was forgotten. And I do believe there was another memorial for the poor gent, but I didn't see very much media coverage. This is a beautiful color. You never know what you're going to get at the dollar store. You don't really know if it's going to be good or if it's going to be bad, but I thought this would be a much deeper shade. It's really not that much deeper, but it gives you enough time. It doesn't dry down or like stain with like a hard edge, which I feel like some of the other way more pigmented, way more dark colors, which if you're a more richly pigmented person, maybe that works better for you. But, you know, I love this as much, if not more, than the tulip shade. This is Rose Garden. Shout out to Rose Handberry. Hope you're doing swell and all your children are doing swell. You know, people were very curious about, you know, what all went down to, I would guess, damage the friendship between Kate Middleton and Rose Handberry, right? And now this concerted effort to rehabilitate Rose Handberry's reputation after, you know, several public events with Camilla the Stallion and also our friend Charlotte Tilbury. All these different church events that were on the official royal calendar that involved not only Rose Handberry, but also one of her sons. The rumor having been that cast doubt on the, what do you call it? The paternity. Did I say that elegantly and carefully enough? Allegedly. But yes, Summer for Life. Thank you for your big exclamation points, but I believe 2 minutes have passed. Do your worst. We're just letting our products dry down, right? I learned so much. Like, I've been bedridden after my, you know, activities at work. And, you know, the one thing I can do is use a finger to watch makeup tutorials and different things. And this is I'm trying a new technique, right? Employing setting spray. I believe this is probably a mixture of Milani and what was originally in this bottle, which was an ethereal silver setting spray. You know, our friend Nina Poole over on the Clock app talks about the fact that setting spray really is alcohol diluted with distilled water, and that's good enough. And that, you know, if you're wanting to create your own cheap setting spray, of course, there's 11 ingredients on this list, but glycerin, butylene glycol, carbomer, castor oil. That's interesting. There's a bunch of different things in here. And again, like, you know, I experiment with things when I don't really know if I need them. Like, I went most of my life never using setting spray, never using any kind of primer, right? Today we've tried 5-in-1 Essence Primer from Wet n Wild, and we layered that with this cannabis-infused Garnier Green Labs Pore Perfecting Serum Cream. Should we have used the Pore Perfecting Serum Cream with SPF before the primer? Or we did primer and then serum, which is also SPF. So I think this looks adorable, by the way. I really do. I'm not unhappy with this. If I put on like eyeliner or mascara and maybe some lip color, I would not be unhappy. Now, we have leftover product. It always feels like you should use more of this than perhaps you should, but that's what it is. Now, we have a few different shades. I felt very misled by the people that I've encountered at the MAC counters in MAC and also at Ulta. They're always telling me NC45, and I didn't believe them. So I think we've tried NC40, right? It's the opposite. NC is for when your skin is warm. NW is for when your skin is cool. So let's see what NW20 is looking like, and maybe we can mix the two. We certainly have other shades of the MAC Studio Fix Fluid. I do believe that I'm cooler than warm, but I'm not completely cool. Look, I'm not pink complected, right? That's a pretty good dollop we scooped off the top. Let's see if we can get a sheer application of that now that we've let our underpainting dry down. And again, that's the color of contour we used, and we used this color of corrector. We didn't even put any concealer on. Gambling, peach, blush, contour, and then we primed and serumed. But again, here's our sheared out NC20. Are we gonna look crazy? Let's see. Yep, that's very pale. There is a whole theory that, you know, what you're striving to do, you're not trying to be darker than the color of your neck and chest. You want to kind of land at a bit lighter than the color of your neck and chest. And then from there, use contour and bronzer then to match the aggregate makeup to the color of your neck and chest. Now, I'm not hating this. It's looking a bit pale in real life, right? But if you look at my skin, and I'm a little bit tan, but it sometimes like complexion products go on and then I'll end up looking very, very yellowy, much more yellowy than I am in reality. But, you know, shearing out this foundation and going in with it, you know, it's always been inspiring to hear different like makeup gurus on this platform and others talk about making shades work, right? If you're someone like me who is the lowest end of the foundations for women of color, and then somehow I'm medium in mainstream foundations, it's always like a struggle to find the right assortment of colors, and then, you know, find the right ones so that you can feel confident when you are, you know, stepping out to work, right? Like for me, it used to be good enough, like, oh, I put on makeup, I'm done. It wasn't even a question whether I was gonna do the makeup well. It was like, again, makeup, right? I had this, right? They asked for powder and lips, and I had that. That's all I had. That's all I knew, right? It was better than not having any. And, you know, I've had the experience of makeup people demanding that I, you know, take a portion of my makeup that I bought and I spent my couple of dollars for and gift it, like give it to other people who hadn't brought any, right? Like just come, they don't bring anything, right? We get these, you know, emails that are rather aggressive telling us, again, my skin looks sort of goldish green, right? Olive. And you don't have olive options. You got neutral, you have cool. You'll see a little tea bag remnant. I made some chamomile tea and I always rub tea bags on my face. Now, this is looking sort of pink. The tone is not wrong. The undertone is wrong, right? Can we fix it by adding the Laura Mercier powder, right? Not using too much of this foundation, but part of me wants to use it all up so that we really see what the colors look like, right? Pink, green, but the tone is not wrong, right? I have a bunch of NW kind of 40-42 because I was, from what I was told, I was too scared to actually, you know, I wanted to kind of listen to the people who were talking to me at the makeup counter, but I also found them to be, is the word racist to see a person of color and be like, oh, you're NW45. Well, some people are, but I'm not. And I know because I do have some NW45 products from MAC. I have some N products, I have some 30s, some 40s, but I feel like tone-wise, this 20 is not way off the mark. And I may just end up mixing a bunch of different things together, but between peach corrector and this very pink 20, I do believe that MAC is very quality products, right? Lipstick wise, having colors be true, lip liners. I am curious to try the new Maybelline Lifter lip liners. I did some hunting around at Sephora and also Ulta for what I'm hoping are more waterproof waterline liners, right? I love the Marc Jacobs. I only have it in black. My gel eyeliner from the Creme Shop got dry, and if you were with me last episode, I used some eye drops to try to re-wet it. Summer for life. I'm still here, girl. What you gonna do? You didn't get me, what is it, permanently banned? You know, at the very least, subscribe. And if not that, you can send a super chat. You can subscribe to my channel for a few dollars a month. Help me out instead of just trying to get on my live and say, you know, scary things. You know, we're risking really caking things up, right? I have been watching with interest, you know, makeup artists on set, never using sponges. If they do, they use the disposable triangle sponges. Not even on main cast do they use sponges. So I'm always like, wow, what a trick. People want to tell you all about sponge, but ain't nobody using sponge out in the real world. Just the same way that ain't nobody using glue on their wigs. If you get a wig put on you on set, there's no glue involved. They might glue sideburns to a man's face, but nobody, and I mean nobody, is using glue on wigs. So there's a whole lot of people who are getting like really skin damage. Should we go in with the rest of this blush now that we've applied foundation? The underpainting has not survived, so it's lovely. You know, it's very inconsistent how you can get hold of LA Colors products. When you see it in the Dollar Tree, grab it. I am always on the hunt for shades of natural because I've decided that's the perfect foundation and concealer shade for me, but often I find other shades. And again, we have to make what we can find work. I was watching a tutorial today that was talking about round faces and creating a triangle of highlighter here instead of putting so much work into contouring the sides of your face. Fascinating, right? Like you kind of have to just be agnostic. Don't really overly believe in anything, any particular makeup product or any particular makeup theory, but really just commit yourself to, I'm going to see what works for me and I'm going to absorb all the information that I can, you know, get my hands on or my eyes on or my brain on just to see what all is happening, right? They were saying don't bring your blush too low, but then some people say make a boyfriend blush pattern on your cheek, right? Some people are saying that lower blush looks more youthful. So we're splitting the difference just to use this all up. This blush is beautiful. You know, I know everyone's like, oh, Huda Beauty, oh, all this, all that. You know, for the buck, LA Colors does not let you down. It lets you do what you need to do and get on with life. You're not gonna be feeling like, you know, so many people are decluttering a lot of makeup, very expensive makeup. They're finally admitting that things didn't work for them. They're finally saying like, you know, what you're afraid to say, which is like, this is ugly. It's the wrong undertone. I got sold something that doesn't work for me, right? And it's disappointing and you feel like a fool and you don't want to constantly be returning things. Or you might commit to having makeup and really not use it or use it all up because you don't need to, right? If you're, you know, playing law enforcement, you don't need to like go to town with false eyelashes, right? Summer for life. You must know a lot about law enforcement. Getting into all the things that you seem to be getting into here online. What about it? You think Kate Middleton's giving up on the whole, you know, get on the throne dream? Think she's had enough? of, you know, her bald husband wagging his finger in her face and other people's faces? What about these rows where they say that, you know, they throw pillows and maybe they throw more? What about it? Oh, I backcombed my brows and here came a lot of texture. Is that from the sponge? Oh, it is from the sponge. Uh-oh, alcohol did not do this sponge any good. I guess the sponge needs to be retired. It opened the sponge up and all the like foam bits came out, but you know, it was a valiant effort. I had replaced it in any case, but you know, things don't last. And it's great when you can get value out of them as we, you know, seek to use this CoverGirl True Blend translucent tawny palette to the last drop. I couldn't have guessed that this wasn't precisely my color. How would I know? I wouldn't. Here we are, figuring it out together. Right? I love a silicone sponge. I love it, love it, love it. I have other ones, but I like this one because it's the floppiest. It's the softest. It almost feels like a finger that doesn't have bones in it. Right? But we were trying to get into some makeup before we hit the gym, right? Got our hair up. Now we have destroyed a sponge and we're living life under the threat of Summer for Life 1826. What does it mean? No one knows. So from here, we've blushed again. Do we need to bronze? We did bring, but yeah, NW20 is not awful. It might be a little pink, right? This neck is not only yellow, it's green. So next time we'll mix NW20 with NC40 and see where we get, right? We know, we see a lot of people in the field. They have foundation on their face and it ends right at the jawline and it looks very creative. It looks not necessarily the right undertone, right? But they got it done. They got it on their face, and that's what happens to a lot of us. We get it done, we get it on our face, and then it kind of, you know, plays us. We're not necessarily happy, but, you know, we do it, and then we get on with life. We can't spend all day fixing it or making it better. We gotta drop in and drop out. And, you know, if we end up looking like a fool for the day, it's almost like, you know, those like, I guess it's Japanese plays where the people put like white on the face and they kind of act like this. What is that called? Kabuki? It looks like you have gone to a formal event and you have put makeup on your face. It's not like the most natural makeup. It's not maybe the most flattering, but you have it on, right? Like it's like putting on just lipstick to answer the door or go to the bank. It's like you did a little something. It's not the best, it's not the worst, right? But if we have our cream contour on and we have put on blush, we blushed above and we blushed below, then from here, let's see if we can get into a powder bronzer and see what it's doing. This is the Jacqueline Cosmetics RIP. She was telling us Porkies, which is what they call lies in the UK, that it was her own brand and that she invested her own money, and that turned out to be everything but true, right? This is in the shade Be Rouge and Espresso Shot. This was the darkest one that I could find in store at the Marshalls, but they say you want to bronze, and this is looking kind of red on me. You want to bronze at the back of the cheek. Bronze at the back of the cheek. Don't drag it all the way across your face, but bronze at the back. I guess that does look kind of bronze, right? Bronze and drag it forward. Hairline. Hairline forward. Never really used this product before, but we're going to see what it's giving. forward as best you can. I didn't really put my hair back, but you know, it's like when you get to do a role where you really can wear a lot of makeup, it makes you interested in doing your makeup well and not, you know, there are professionals that'll help you or, you know, they'll do what they want. But I was surprised at how, you know, the main cast member is quite a tiny woman. She's not young, but she looks young because she's so tiny. And so they cast a lot of similarly tiny women that were so tiny they looked like children. I guess to make her look more regular, like a regular person in the context of that show. It's like when you work with shorter actors like Ryan Phillippe, who's my height, then all the soldiers that get cast are like my height so that he doesn't look short. Do you know what I'm saying? Like it's quite masterfully done to give people the perception that, you know, he's taller than he is, right? You would never question that he's not as tall as Liam Neeson because you're never allowed to question that. I don't hate this bronzer. I might not be getting the best payoff, but I don't dislike it. You know, I wasn't like anti Jaclyn Hill. I just think that, you know, she was being a bit shady, right? Let's see if we can use our same brush that we contoured with to get some bronzer on the nose in the precise way that we need it. Even Summer for Life 1826 would be satisfied, right? Ooh, that's color payoff. Ooh. All right, and they're saying lines that converge on the nose. Not too wide of a brush, not a brush that's gonna take product into a whole wide application, but just keeping it precisely where you want it. Converging lines, right? We learned so much from our friends in the drag community who do, you know, makeup and kind of visual tricks with makeup all the time. You know, we grow up hearing messages that are like, don't wear a lot of makeup, don't do this, don't do that, so that you're not feeling quite as bold by the time that you really do want to start showing up and showing out with your makeup application. But, you know, weekend makeup is the perfect opportunity to experiment, right? And it's very validating. You go to work and then see that dimension on the face, right? I don't necessarily always do all of this, but it is nice to kind of pull it all out, make some choices, and then, you know, deploy it, right? The makeup is your army. Deploy it and see what it can do for you, right? You lose a few pounds, you get to work, and they want to put you in, you know, something tight, something scandalous. In a way, it's flattering that people approve it. There's also blush in here. Should we even get into it? Maybe the theory is that we'll set our blush. I don't want to change the color, but this shade is called Be Rouge. The packaging for the Jaclyn Hill products, to me, it's adequate. You know, I've gotten my hands on, in store, Natasha Denona and who is the one that does Yummy Skin? And, you know, I have 1 or 2 Pat McGrath palettes, and I am delighted with them, but the price tag is a lot. It's like $100+ dollars. It's sort of a raspberry color. I don't dislike it. It is kind of more rosy than the cream blush we went into, and then we're just blending it into our bronzer. All right, the colors are really gonna show. So when you're really getting busy on the dance floor, nobody's gonna be like, I can't see her blush. I can't see her contour. I can't see her bronzer. No, we're getting in there. Is it too much? Does it look like a radiation burn? Oh well. Should we use our sponge to try to blend what we did on our nose? Yes. Just tap it in. We don't want to eliminate it. We just want it to look a little bit more subtle. Did we just get rid of it? I'm not sure, but got some loose eyelashes, and our our lash glue from work is definitely hanging on. I feel like I need a kabuki brush to get this makeup straight, but should we set, right? Let's really look objectively. Where have we gotten with our complexion product, right? We don't seem to be way, way off in tone now that everything is dried down. I kind of want to rub a brush all over my face, but we're not as yellow as we normally are, but we are not really reflecting the kind of gold green that is in our skin. But, you know, listen, we experiment day by day. And if we get into this banana powder with our puff, right? Our friends at Wet n Wild. This is also, let's see what the Bobbi Brown is doing, because we definitely have used the banana powder a lot. This is a very nice dispenser. You can kind of turn the dial to expose some of the holes so that then you can tap out some powder, and maybe if you don't need like a crazy amount of powder, you just tap a little bit, right? You want to see, I like to use the cap to kind of spread it around, and you know, people are like, oh, even application, rub it on your hand. I have very little desire to get makeup all over my hands and all over the place. It's enough that it's on my face, but you know, setting in the inner part of the face, I don't know, Bobbi Brown. I like the Wet n Wild banana powder better. I'm sorry. You know, maybe it's down to what products I used outside of this, but, you know, I feel like the Wet n Wild photo focus is very blurring, and that this is, I think the color is good. Maybe I spoke too soon. It's not bad. But we can also use a bit more to try to normalize our skin tone. Is it a perfect match? Never. When I was very, very new to the makeup game, I was big on prescriptives. I would always go get color matched at Bergdorf Goodman or wherever, you know, and I did that for years, but, you know, I kind of fell out of that color matching thing, and I started experimenting with all different brands. I feel, does prescriptives even exist anymore? I don't really know. I don't really spend a lot of time in department stores lately. I am much more of a drugstore. I don't know what you call stores like TJ Maxx and Marshalls. Is it resellers? Is it discount retailers? But that's more of where I encounter my makeup products. But sadly, you can't get things like Fashion Fair. You can't get, you know, you can't get everything that way. This is calming down the blush for sure. You know, you don't want to go crazy using too much powder. The theory being that you wet your sponge with setting spray to really set down your product, and that you powder minimally. At this point, I'm really trying to change the color and the undertone of my complexion, and maybe I went too far with the blush. But, you know, a bold blush, over time it will wear off, right? But you don't want people to think that you're, you know how like sometimes you see older women like wearing a lot of makeup, like almost thick makeup, where it looks like they kept putting makeup on and not taking the old makeup off. You know, and it's very much not skin-like. Like, you don't want to get into that look. But you know, I appreciate this set of powders that I've collected. I appreciate, you know, just different methodologies that I've learned about by watching different tutorials, and kind of learning about, you know, spot concealing with pencils and drawing in egg yolk, and, you know, how you emphasize a round face. But I think one of the successes of today's makeup even though the undertone is maybe a little bit rich for me, I'm starting to experiment with these color correctors. Yellow might be better for me than peach. I don't have darkness, and I am left with more of a peach appearance, but I did not add concealer on top of it. I think I actually put foundation there. And it's refreshing to hear different makeup artists talk about, you know, that maybe sometimes the rules are not the rules, right? Because people try to convince you that you should never put dark brown lip liner. Yes. Or should we go Charlotte Tilbury? Let's go Charlotte Tilbury, only because we have a few new glosses from our friends at the dollar store. This is the Sweetened Jelly Lip Gloss from LA Colors. There were a lot of people talking today on the Clock app about some kind of pink or red lip liner. And then, you know, they were sharing their lip combo with somebody at a party. And it looked great. This is Pillow Talk 2, right? This is Rose Hanbury's friend, Charlotte Tilbury. Rose Hanbury and Camilla the Stallion. Slightly overlining. Not too much. It tends to look a little crazy on me. But what's interesting about Asian makeup is that they're not a harsh line lip makeup. It's really more about blurring the lip line. And I quite like that idea because, you know, I feel like I don't really need to overline or, you know, compensate for not having lips. I really just am looking for maybe a little bit more emphasis in the center, but not to go too far. Where, again, for me at work, I don't want to look like a try-hard. I don't want to look crazy. I don't want to break the rules. I don't want to look distracting. I don't want to look like Kylie Jenner, especially in untreated photos where it's just like, what's up? But, you know, everyone is beautiful. Sweetened. Again, this wasn't the color I wanted to choose. It's always unclear what the different makeup drops are from LA Colors. Even their website is a bit confusing. But, you know, I appreciate having access to affordably priced makeup, whether that's at Marshall's or TJ Maxx or, you know, wherever. I'm gonna take it. I'm gonna try it. Does this have a doe foot? It doesn't. It has this kind of applicator that I do not want to get all gummed up with other colors. So let's put this on the end of our Jaclyn Hill bullet. Oh, it's got more color than I thought it would. It's actually kind of peachy pink. What is the shade name called? Sweetened Jelly Lip Gloss, slant tip, kind of fuzzy applicator. Sheer tinted lip gloss that moisturizes lips and adds shine. I can't really tell if it has a scent, but lips are lined with this kind of deeper mauvey color. It's got a milkiness to it, which surprises me. So it almost looks like you've put on, oh, it's quite nice. It looks like you've put on a pale lipstick or a bit of concealer. But by blurring the lip liner, right, it's giving you emphasis at the edges of the lips. And it's giving you that kind of milky color that you would expect from adding lipstick or something to the center. So your own lip color is showing through, and it gives you a nice wet look. It doesn't really change the color so much, and because I'm somewhat warm toned, I don't dislike it at all. I think it's very pretty. But I'm gonna learn to stop overlining my lips because it doesn't necessarily look that great on me. It doesn't look bad, but it doesn't look like, oh my God. We also dug out this CoverGirl pressed powder. I go back and forth. People say put on loose powder, then pressed powder as a finishing powder. And this is labeled powder foundation for normal skin. So it's not even a powder. Classic Ivory, which is quite pale for us. It has its own little applicator. Classic Ivory. Are we gonna mess things up? Let's see. But we're using up all the products we have, y'all. All right, whatever it is, if the color works, if it doesn't work, we're using it. I, for some reason, thought this was like a blurring powder. Maybe I'm confusing this with some other product that I got, that I have somewhere. I could swear this was some kind of blurring setting powder, but I'll make a concerted effort to look. I don't dislike my CoverGirl products. So this ends up being brightening. This is a foundation. It's a powder foundation in Ivory. So as they say, brighten up under your contour and blush and clean up those edges, right? It has quite a foamy applicator, cleaning up around the mouth. You can hear my stomach growling because I decided to come on live. Brightening up the inner corner. We know we put some peach corrector on our lids before, but powdering the lids before we experiment with one or another eyeshadow palette that we also got at the dollar store. It is quite smoothing. I don't hate this. I don't. Drag it down the neck and onto the ear. You know, the true story gets told when I step away to actually look at a real mirror in the real world, but we definitely look made up. I guess that's it. I guess the puff just goes in the little house. This is powder foundation. Now, we did understand from other people that using deeper colors of pressed powder was a great idea for setting cream bronzer. What we used today was a contour stick, and we had collected a few different, these very inexpensive eyeshadow quads from our friends at LA Colors, right? Just to give us something to do here on screen as we're talking about Kate Middleton. Is she done? Is she walking away? Is she getting into other things for the rest of her, you know, days as a royal? Will she retain her title? Will she stay married to Prince William? It's just such a big question mark because we have not seen much of her this year. And, you know, Wimbledon was one thing, but now the Olympic tennis finals, I think, already happened. So it's feeling more and more that we've been getting used to not seeing her with William at engagements. They're doing things separately. They're doing sporting events mostly. Not really a lot of hard work on behalf of the British people. And this is a crisis moment. This is Tea Party. LA Colors, Mad for You, ombre, I guess that means eyeshadow quad that creates a variety of natural and glam looks. Well, we're primed and we're powdered, so let's make it happen. We also got an adorable, so this is a kind of green and tan colorways. We got this really interesting set. It was the only one, right? Which is what often happens at the Dollar Tree, as opposed to the Dollar King, as opposed to Dollar General, right? Eye brush set with case, 4 pieces. So this is a perfect occasion to get busy with this set and see what's going on. It's so cute. It's purple. I mean, the brushes could be really, you know, abrasive and harsh, but I was attracted to the fact that it comes with a little kit, and the little kit is lilac, and especially when you do your makeup in front of the haters, you know, it's fun to have like a nice little set at your disposal, just so that you look more suave bola. Oh, I plan to use this Maybelline Dream BB Fresh as a bronzer, but then I forgot. I got distracted. I apologize, but let's get into this, right? Maybe we won't use all these travel brushes, but we do have some good brush options. This is a Shoe 6009 brush, and we'll go into this kind of transition shade here and go to town, right? We already mapped out our eyeshadow with our contour, and this actually pays off a little bit deeper than I expected it to. I would have thought this would have gone onto the skin looking more kind of almondy, the way that it does in the palette, but it's not bad. Again, for $1.25, whether you're, you know, going to a corporate gig or going on to a Zoom call and wanting to just look a little bit more sophisticated and put together, pulling this out toward the end of the eyebrow. The other thing that this Asian woman was saying about round face is that you want to lengthen the eyebrow, and that lengthening the eyebrow and highlighting in the middle of the face will distract from the roundness of your face, if that makes sense. Like, she was kind of suggesting a different strategy and referring to K-pop idols as having employed the same strategy. So that's something we have to remember to do, to experiment with having a highlighter in a triangle under the inner corner of the eye. I don't hate this as a single shadow. It's matte. It's slightly deeper than our skin color, not crazy. It is giving us like a khaki color, pulling it out toward the end of the brow and then kissing the edge of the lid. I don't know if I even wore eyeshadow the other night when they put lashes on me. You know, I just don't want to take the time, like, to put on lashes for, you know, something like that. Like, I'd rather just get there. Let's not even talk about the fact that the wrong map had been sent to a lot of people. We can use the same brush to get this darker brown in the outer V. You know, I didn't want to like freak out or scold, but I was definitely not pleased. You know, like you do your best to, you know, be professional and on time, but I was given like a map from earlier in the week, as were other people as well. It felt like somebody would or should get fired over it. But it's, you know, one more reason to just, sometimes you just feel like, oh, this is the answer. Here's the answer. It's been sent to me 3 times, but that didn't make it the right answer. And it takes an experience like I had on Friday. Ooh, this is quite nice. For $1.25, this is good enough for me, right? Sometimes you don't want to take your expensive makeup with you to work. You don't want it to get nabbed. And this was even a colorways that I didn't really care in particular about. Like sometimes if there's 4 colors in a release, what is this called? Mad for You. I think I'd gotten an orange one. I wasn't, you know, I wasn't too fired up. I didn't care. I was like, oh, green. That'll be a different day of content. But this is actually turning out to be quite nice before I go crazy and I put the shimmer on the inner on the inner corner. But using the same brush, right? I can think of so many situations, just dragging whatever's left under the eye, where I could wear something like this and just look a little bit more sophisticated, a little bit more dressed up by having eyeshadow in effect, right? Even stopping here would be fine, right? But experimenting with this new set of brushes to see how they feel. Let's try it on the hand. It's not bad, it's not great, it's not super flexible, but it might be fine for getting on a shimmer. So maybe we'll do one eye with the kind of pale gold and see what's what, right? Inner corner. Or maybe I'll just do inner corners with this and then use the green. sorry, I'm getting in your way. But I don't hate this at all. I don't hate the, sometimes you can't tell if something is a shimmer or a glitter until you get it on your face. I've definitely experienced worse. And then let's use the other side of the brush to get this green shimmer on. See what's what. It's definitely a little bit green, but you know, $1.25. Right, the 99-cent store new standard price before it closed was $1.29. Right, not 5 quarters, but $1.29. Is that why it closed? I doubt it, but apparently the Dollar Tree people are going to revive it, or maybe they're just going to make the locations Dollar Tree. One of my friends says that I have to get out to the Dollar King in another town, and I have not yet done it, but I intend to. This is actually quite a nice green to kind of arc over into the blend of khaki and brown from the other shades. I wouldn't feel sad about this eyeshadow without the green, right? I wouldn't be like, oh no, let's not have that. It's kind of exciting, right? But thumbs up for this little palette. I quite like it. These little brushes are better than no brushes. And again, for $1.25, I'll take it. So just blending our regular matte shadows back in toward the shimmers. I didn't hate the green shimmer, but I really, really like the shadow, because the regular shadows, the matte ones, look so natural, and even the inner corner highlight looks so natural, and then along comes green and it looks like makeup, if you know what I'm saying, which is not a bad thing, but it's not my favorite. So we had gotten some eye drops into this Creme Shop dark brown liner. We checked on it earlier today, and some of the eye drops were still just sitting there. So this is an angled eyeliner brush from our friends at Elf, right? Elf, king of dupes, right? Maybe we can just put this back into its little house. But this is such a cute set. I should put it immediately into my purse along with this little eyeshadow palette. Just to, let's see if it's wet enough to actually get on our brush this time. Let's swirl the rest of the eye drops into it. You know, I was hoping we'd get a nice even moistening, but there's a crack down the center. Maybe it's too far gone, I don't know. But we're gonna stir it around for a bit. This might be our first time actually using this brush. And let's get it on our palette and see if we can get any kind of line onto our eyes. Doesn't really look like it, but that's glass and this is skin. Cross our fingers. I mean, it's wet, but no color payoff. I mean, it looks like a smudge. This eyelash glue is hanging on though. I try not to get like aggressive when I'm removing lashes, or, you know, it's not that important, but it is, you know, I've gotten lash extensions once and I wouldn't do that again unless I had to do it for work. So far, so not good, Mr. Creme Shop, and that's disappointing because it seems like it would be the perfect color. We're gonna let it simmer for a few more days, then we might have to put it outside or chuck it, but we can always go back to old reliable Marc Jacobs and just get some black into our lash line, right? And we can think about extending our brows. You know, it's not like it's a bad thing to have a round face. People are saying that eyeliner should flare out, not quite from the end of your eye, but I don't know how to do that because I have a hooded eye. So we got to go with what we know. I like the outer part of the eye lined, and then an extension that's not too long. That was the other thing they were saying. Don't make a lot of like long line out of the eye. And you know, when I started really getting into doing makeup, like during the mask times, I was, you know, forever trying to understand why I looked so goofy when I drew, you know, a line or a big thick Amy Winehouse line, and it just didn't, you know, I felt like I didn't have any access to information for people who have eyes that are built like mine. Like I don't have an epicanthic fold, but I definitely don't have a kind of Western eye with a lot of lid space. Well, I kind of messed up my eyeliner talking, but it's okay. You know, I want to be a waterline girly, but I feel like whenever I do this with this product, it wanders all over my face, and I don't like that. You know, I want it to be a nice, strong, tight line, and I would want it to be in a dark brown. I have my eye on some products at Ulta and Sephora that promise to be waterproof eyeliners. This one's nice. It's not necessarily transfer proof, in my experience. But again, you see how much strength that gives to the eye. And then you can use a thin brush like this. Should we use the brush from our new little kit? These seem very wide. You need something little and sharp, like this Morphe 160 and 1/8. But yeah, I hear from the interwebs that the Morphe stores in the UK closed down over the weekend, no warning to employees. And that seems like exactly what they did in the US with most or all of the locations, which is, you know, it's a drag for employees. No one has said anything publicly about what severance might look like, if any. You know, and certainly Morphe made a lot of really strong profits for a very long time. It would seem like the balance sheet would allow them to be a little bit more careful about how they dismiss employees. You know, I've heard some troubling things about people, I guess former executives at Makeup Revolution. I can't recall right now what was said, but some that would make something so bad that you would consider not buying their cheap dupes for other makeup companies. And I've heard something about financial malfeasance. You know, I've enjoyed all the products and palettes I've had from them, also from our friends at BH Cosmetics, which I think stands for Beverly Hills Cosmetics, but I feel like they're bankrupt and maybe they were purchased by Makeup Revolution London. But this is what the makeup is looking like. Let's brush up our brows and then try to extend the brow. You know, the suggestion being that you can distract from the roundness of your face by having more length in your brows. Now, where did all our brow products go? I feel like I just had them, and what did I do with them? We have a few new items from the Dollar Tree that we're itching to try. This is High Brow Precision Pencil. This is from Mented. It's in the shade Brow You Know, which is a dark brown. Maybe we can start here. Try to resist the urge to go way darker with your brow products, because if you have dark hair, it's going to very quickly go into, you know, horror movie territory where you're going to start looking a little weird. You know, especially for the people who like to draw solid lines under their brows. Like I have sparseness here, just in the right brow. I like to give a few lines, a few strokes to the brow arch, and then cheat and try to stretch out the end of the brow. I got my makeup done before I took a passport photo. And the person did like this really like pop star kind of makeup on me. So I was endlessly being asked, is that picture me when I, show up to the airport without a lot of makeup on and without my brows like arched that way. So be careful. Sometimes too much makeup or makeup that's far outside the wheelhouse of what you actually do, you can get played, and people's expectations can be different than what you're trying to deliver. You're not trying to do all that on a daily basis. I know I'm not, and it's not even appropriate. It's not a good use of my time to do all that and everything in service of, I don't know. I mean, it's not that serious. Like, yes, for work, I'll experiment enough to know what I'm doing, right? To know how this palette will look, and, whether it's worthwhile. And again, to have B-roll for other things I do with this footage. I thank you for joining me and listening to me. This is the Anastasia Gel Dip Brow in the shade Medium Brown. Again, resist the urge to go super dark, right? My brows are dark. It's darker than most of the hair framing my face, but that doesn't mean that you should go for black eyebrows, because you will be, especially in bright light, bright sunlight, you will be humbled. It will just make you look suspicious. I'll put it like that. But I try different products, different product lines, different things. I love to go, in very underpopulated areas to visit the beauty store, right? You can see where I extended my brow, and now I'll use this dip brow to kind of stretch the hairs into that area and lift the brows. But will this make my brows look lighter? I feel like I have to use like a taupe or dark blonde if I want my brows to look lighter. I definitely am not looking to bleach my brows. I don't want to look that different. You can't count on a bleached brow to not peep out in a non-opportune time. Undertone wise, our complexion is looking more pink, but not in a crazy way. I think the eyeshadow is nice. I would have less of the green. The lip is nice. We're gonna look in the real mirror, but we did not put concealer under the eye. But now we're gonna push the envelope and we're gonna put some highlighter in the center of the face. If we can find the product that we're looking for. This is a Milk holographic stick. And then we also have this product, which is from our friends at Daiso. And I kind of want to try this one first because it's more subtle. Now, how do we get it out of the stick and onto our face? And we can even see that I've stained this by applying it directly to the face. We need a dense brush. We need something that's really going to dig into this product and get it on our under eye, right? We don't need anything with flex. We need stiff bristles. Maybe something from our new little kit, since they're so stiff. Is this the right brush? Let's try it. It is stiff, but it's a thick angled brush, right? We're trying to pull this product off, get it onto our brush. And again, they said triangle of highlighter under the eye. That's more what it looks like. Could never read the directions on this product because it was all in Japanese, right? They're saying highlight this whole area. And we want it to be applied thinner so it doesn't look as chalk-like. But, again, this particular person showed images of Korean pop stars who do this to create brightness, and that brings this area forward, right? You're combating darkness and any kind of feeling of sunkenness under the eyes with highlighter. Some people say put it on the tip of your nose. Never really gotten into this product so seriously. And then on the bridge of the nose, right? And we can use our fingers to blend. But highlighter here instead of highlighter here. Round face, right? More forehead, right? By thirds. More forehead, mid-face than we've got chin, right? We try to brighten up our chin, but you know, we're gonna put this on, we're gonna see how it wears, we're gonna go to the gym and see what's what, you know. So using our sponge to try to tap and blend that in. You know, it is a very fine kind of, it's almost like a balm to make that more subtle. It definitely is giving brightness and excitement when we turn our head, but we're putting that here and not here. They're saying spend less time contouring here and more time distracting people with longer brows and brightness under the eye. We did underpaint, but I don't know if the glowy effect has gone away completely, but this is what it is. Thank you for joining my live. Kate Middleton, is she hanging around or is she easing on down the road out the door to Buckleberry or somewhere a different estate? But is the union with William strong, or is it time to say goodnight, Gracie? I'll check you next time, but thank you for joining me. Mwah! Bye, stars.